Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bring It On. So our party has a new buff, Desna's Lullaby Harp. For 7 days, whenever a companion enters the area of Azada's performance, they become invigorated. While under this effect, after a weapon attack kills a living foe, one of the following effects happens. If its wielder is fatigued, it removes the fatigue. If exhausted, the companion becomes fatigued instead. If neither exhausted nor fatigued, the companion gains a +2 morale bonus on attack rolls, and a +10 feet enhancement bonus to all modes of movement possessed until the end of the next turn. That's pretty good. It's good for exploring. So if we run across a random encounter on the road, and most of our party should proc it pretty often except for Nenio. It's like just have her using Phantasmal Killer for every fight now.
I am prepared.
Are we ready to move out?
Search for the beauty with your heart, not your eyes.
Huh? Oh, yes, what?
Let's try this one.
You should have reason. I'll remove this obstacle.
Alright, nothing to it. Man, remember when Imbasus were an actual threat? Alright, made it time to save the fort. All that trouble having to go all the way back up north to stop that army from sieging the fort. We wrap it up in one turn. Alright, well while we're up here, we'll just go ahead and go west. Take care of some of these armies over here. See if we can't go down here and take care of some of these as well. In fact, yeah, we'll probably do this one. See if we can go south, take care of these. And clear out some of these forts up here. Alright, the Heart of Mystery. Ancient ruins that Sarkorians inherited from the unknown builders of the Earthfall times. The Sarkorians dubbed this place the Heart of Mystery. Scattered all over the walls of the ruins are numerous pressure plates, buttons, and levers, the purpose of which one can only guess. Well, considering we've done this twice before, I think we can guess. We have a pretty solid guess as to what they do. We do have some more slabs, and I'm wondering if they're the ones for this place.
No reason to pause.
I forgot to rest
The world has suffered
before
enough.
entering. That's okay. We'll do that real fast, then we'll buff up and see what's going on here. You study the world around you with such dedication. You must truly love it. Love, love. You've reminded me of something, Demon Girl, but yes. Must finish writing my entry about the wound's influence on ant reproduction. Arushalai looks upset. It seems she has been plagued by dark thoughts since leaving Wintersun. And that mortal Marvok, I just can't stop thinking about what happened to him and his whole village. It was a real tragedy. Yes, it was. Demons break the minds of mortals so easily, no matter how wise or noble those mortals are. Yeah, but Marvok didn't really seem wise or noble. He seemed a little crazy. A whole village living in a world of illusion for a century. You know, ever since we left, I keep thinking, What if the same thing is happening to me now? What if I just think I've joined the crusade and I'm fighting against the demons? It's just that what I'm doing here, it all seems so unreal. Thing 2 fits. We are surrounded by butterflies. Right, sure. In reality, you're just a little butterfly that fell asleep on the page of an encyclopedia one summer afternoon, and the whole crusade is just your dream. Rushalai frowns. Don't laugh at me. I'm serious. If you look at things like that, all my fears really seem rather stupid. But that proves nothing at all. I can laugh at the idea of living inside an illusion, even while being in one, can't I? If the whole crusade is an illusion, then who am I? You? Rushalai looks into your eyes confused. Well, this is odd, but I can't picture you as an illusion. Anyone but you. But what if that thought is a delusion too? Gently touch Rushalai's hand. I'm real, I swear it. She shivers, but doesn't jerk her hand back. She squeezes your palm with her hot, dry fingers. Does she need moisturizer? Why are they specifically dry? I believe you. You must be real. I don't want to imagine a world where that is not so. But, Rushalai lets go of your hand. I bet Marvok said the same thing to his demoness. I so desperately want to believe you're real, but he wanted to believe too. He also had his doubts, but he chose to wave them away because he wanted to love his demoness. Tell me, how am I any different from him? The difference is that he lived inside the illusion, and he knew it, whereas you live in the real world, and you know it. Do I? Rushalai wrinkles her forehead. I think I do. When you talk about it, everything seems so simple. When I'm alone again, all the doubts come back. They pile up, more and more of them, and by morning, I'm back to not knowing what's real and what's not. Hold on. You just said you want to love me. Rushalai's face turns bright red, and she looks away. I didn't mean to. Well, she inhales and exhales loudly. I do care about you. A lot. That's why I was so scared about by the things I saw in Winter Sun. It's terrifying to think that love, that such deep feelings could be a delusion. You should spend more time with your friends, and less time inside your own head. Yes, you're right. Succubus gives you a shy smile. If I get lost in my thoughts again, you help me return to reality, won't you? So,
Ready for anything?
I'm not really caring for Rushalai, personality-wise. Mechanically, she's awesome, and she has a fantastic stat distribution, solid class. I don't like that whole, bashful personality thing she's got going on.
I'll go ahead.
But she fits my character extremely well, so I'm going to pursue the romance. It fits my character so well thematically. Him being an Azada, her being a Desna worshipper. He's a Dampier, so he's immune to her energy drain. It works out, but... Darkness Mask. A mysterious white mask with the inscription, I am the darkness. Oh, that's for Neneo's quest. Oh, it's just a buff up before we should probably be fine. There's usually not any fighting in these puzzle locations. The Heart of Mystery will open only to the one who is most worthy. Secret knowledge must be earned. When you reach the end, you become the first amongst many. A translucent figure appears out of thin air. Her voice is monotonous and indifferent, and her face is hidden behind a mask. Yes, 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 yes. I can, I will. The secrets of creation lie before you, behind this keyhole. The key is in your hands, but to open the door to the secrets beyond, you have to solve 5 puzzles. Bring forth your hardest puzzle now. So she's speaking up now, but why didn't she speak up when we spoke to the ghost during the random encounter? They were talking about the same thing. A 4 out of 5 you will find far away from here. Search, seek, and observe to reveal what is hidden. Reach the core of the riddle. Touch the forgotten secrets. Acquire the legacy of the ancients, and pierce the final veil. Bring the key you hold there, and solve the puzzles. And then, return here to the Heart of Mystery, and face the final challenge. If you succeed, you'll prove that you are the worthiest of all mortals. The secrets of the universe will be revealed to you, and you will know the meaning of everything that exists. You'll see the past and present, and the future will not escape your piercing gaze. You will become the universe. Then he looks at you impatiently, blinking rapidly and rubbing her nose. It's not clear from my body language, animated facial expressions. I'm ready to start immediately. Who are you? The translucent figure remains silent. The secrets of creation, the mysteries of the universe. What are you talking about? You must complete 5 puzzles. 4 of them would be found far from here. Solve them. Then return here to the Heart of Mystery and face the final challenge. Your map is obviously outdated. Final challenge, only the worthiest, first amongst many 5 puzzles, you'll become the universe. Oh, it's broken. That always happens every time things start to get interesting. The translucent figure vanishes into thin air. The core of the... Alright, we've already been there. So this is just a shortcut back to the core of the riddle. Cool. Some more Elven notes for the storyteller. Alright, so we don't have the pieces for this puzzle yet. Fair enough.
I know the way.
Alright, well, let's just check this out. Maybe something special happens when we do this. Nope, it's just a shortcut back. So I wanted to, now that we've been to the Heart of Mystery, when we solve puzzles elsewhere, I wonder if we get a shortcut back to this location. Because after we did the core of the riddle, that portal didn't appear until we showed up here.
Follow my lead.
Well, a little disappointing, but it's explored, and that's all that matters.
You are my favorite aide.
I know what to do. This spell doesn't work like that. This spell doesn't work like that. This spell
Alright, well, let
doesn't
me charge him.
work like
That's
that.
fine.
Guide my blade.
I approached him from the wrong angle.
Listen to reason. You're irrelevant.
I wonder how Cleave works on mounted units. Like, can he hit Bucephalus and then hit my main character with Cleave? Or do they count as a single unit, so it won't hit the rider, but it can hit other adjacent units? I don't know if the mount and rider count as adjacent units or one unit. I mean, I know they count as separate units because my main character can take damage while he's mounted. A burned down shack. Little of this shack survives except a fallen roof and some charred boards. but not all of the belongings of the former resident were destroyed by the fire. Alright, to the Befouled Barrows.
Focus on the goal.
I'm always open to ideas.
Yet another obstacle.
Oh, okay. Expecting a lot more out of the Thana demon. But these Mark of Justice and everything. Ghoul Cleric. More like a full cleric. They could fight me. A quarterstaff +2. Alright, so we're actually going to backtrack and go down. Oh, I forgot about these guys. They need to go... this way. Even have them labeled as reinforcements. I forgot about them. Well, they might not be worth this cost, but I come across clerics so rarely now that I have all these other darn mercenary units logging up my search bar. Alright, Befouled Barrows. The bones of chiefs, sages, and other esteemed residents of the old Sarkoris had lain in these gloomy barrows for centuries. Yet in their hatred of mortals, demons wouldn't let the dead rest in peace. Having desecrated their graves, they defaced the ancient bones and scattered them all over the place, soaking them in the blood of their own descendants. Let's rest up before we enter.
It's not that I miss the creatures from my old hunting grounds in the caves. But back there, if a beast didn't eat you for lunch, you could eat it instead. It doesn't work like that with demons.
And have you tried? What happens if you eat a demon? I assume nothing good, but I mean I don't know. Iridescent streaks appear in the bilious, a violet sky above the deserted lands. The streaks are not like an ordinary Galarian rainbow. They look more like oil dropped in water. The sweltering haze in the sky seems to waver along with the streaks. Time and again, one of the commander's party spots a movement out of the corner of their eye, reaches for their weapon, only to immediately realize they were mistaken. The ground underfoot turns a muddy gray, covered in a dense layer of ash expelled by geysers. Curious natural phenomena not uncommon in these parts. In the distance, barrows can be seen, appearing only as vague piles of rocks in the haze. The wind whips clouds of ash into the faces of the commander and his party. Along with the ash, the wind ushers in ragged gray clouds that shroud the sky. A giant eye of cloud unblinkingly watches the commander and his party from above. One can only imagine how insignificant the creatures struggling across the land must seem from such a height. In a break in the clouds, the white of the sky's eye pulses, ready to burst like a boil. The The dark cloud of the pupil grows blacker still. The commander decides to... Let's do this one. Try to recall any previous mention of such a phenomenon. Then he recalls conversations with seasoned crusaders. If a giant eye appears in the sky, you must run and not look back. According to witnesses, what follows such an omen is so horrific that it can rob a newcomer to the world wound of their sanity. Now study the shape of the clouds more closely. Lan observes that in this wind, the ordinary storm clouds cannot coalesce into clear shapes. The air throbs with peril. There is no mere storm. This is no mere storm. What's brewing is something brought by the abyss, and possible only in the wound. Lan recalls conversations with... Alright, I've already read that part. We just keep moving. Let's do this instead. I'll make for the barrows, the only cover in the middle of the wastes. Oh, we failed! As the party runs for cover, the black pupil of the cloud eye looms, watching their flight. Something suddenly drops from the sky, landing with a splat at the commander's feet, like an overripe fruit. It is white, about the size of a chestnut. It has a dark center, and the longer the commander stares at it, the more it seems like something is staring back. The fruit looks disturbingly like an eyeball. The whirlwind of ash stops the party from looking up to see what is happening in the sky. Perhaps a carrion bird was transporting it already, its already rotting prize home. At least, that's what all the companions are hoping, as they cluster around the milky white eyeball. The second eyeball lands nearby, with an unpleasant squelch, leaving only a bloody splash on the ash-covered ground. Two eyeballs cannot be a coincidence. The commander does not even have to speak. Without a word, the party wheels around and races toward the barrows that loom black through the ash. The sickening hail pummels them in the back, shoulders, and heads, leaving wet marks on armor and clothing, and soaking their hair in sticky slime. The land around the barrows looks more like a dumping ground than a burial ground. The storms have bleached skulls and bones, rusted armor, and dented swords. This is a familiar sight. More surprising are the arms and legs of golems scattered around the waste. The once snarling faces of animals now lack all resemblance to their living brethren. Things that look like horse carcasses, but with broken mechanical legs. Everything is brown with rust and long forgotten. The battle was fought here once. Through the veil of ash, the party struggles to find the entrance to the barrow. Yeah, let's focus on traces of magic. Doesn't seem like the most prudent decision, but let's see what happens. Enyo senses the traces of generations upon generations of Sarkorians performing rituals between and inside the burial mounds to grant their ancestors peaceful slumber. The magical signature unerringly leads her to the entrance. An ash-darkened piece of the casing that covers it crumbles under the slightest pressure. The mouth of the barrow is cool. It smells of damp and dust. More of the ash lies underfoot, pressed into a glossy, slippery crust. It's clear that the barrow has been constructed above a cave system. They deliberately carved out corridors stretching off into the barrow's depths, leave the room for natural passageways. Or leave room, not the room. The wind, wailing through the stalactites in the dark, hears a strange sound similar to a desperate human cry. Help me. Help me. The party strains to hear and decides to find out who the voice belongs to. The longer Nenio listens, the more the voice changes. One moment it sounds like the desperate cry of a child. The next, the piercing ragged screams of a woman. The next, birdsong. It cannot be ruled out that she is hearing only what she wants to hear. Go toward the voice. Don Quixote cannot ignore the cries for help, and the party rushes toward the sound, frequently looking around for enemies or traps. A strange thing. The closer they get to the voice, the less distinct the pleas become, blurring into the grinding screech of a rusty mechanism. The only passage leading further into the barrow finishes in a dead end. A spacious cave, its walls decorated in frescoes that have almost entirely faded over time. Before the companions have a chance to decide whether to look for a door or turn back, the cave floor, which seems solid with well-trodden ash, vibrates, and begins to ripple like water. One after another, the commander's companions are sucked into the thick, ashy mass. Hard to say, ashy mass. Like they have stepped into quicksand. The party needs to assess the situation. Why not? The party understands that panicking is pointless. Assessing the situation and formulating a plan of action is much more useful. When they stop struggling, they notice that the quick ash seems to loosen its grip in turn. Below, they can hear strange noises like grinding metal. Could there be a mechanism drawing the quick ash downward? Now, the exit from the cave is still too high up. Now the party have only one route out. Down. The commander tries to grab hold of projections on the wall. The party notices fissures on the nearest wall and tries to grab onto the cracks to climb out. The commander's companions hang suspended above the quagmire for a time, but they cannot move any further. There are no other ledges on the wall to grab onto. Even the strongest party members begin to lose their grip and gradually slide back down. It looks like we're going to have to do this, so I'm going to go just get all the experience that we can. And the party makes a run for the exit. The party floats in the quick ash like in water, and manages to slow their sinking with precise, measured movements. They maintain their composure, giving them time to think about what to do next. The party has tried everything it can. The only option left is to accept its fate. Those who wish to speak barely have time to say their goodbyes. Closing his eyes tight, the commander takes a deep breath and dives. It's going, doesn't it? The quagmire's resistance vanishes as expected. The commander opens his eyes, sensing that he is in freefall. Through the gloom, he sees a spear sticking out parallel to the ground, and he manages to grab hold of the wood and hang suspended from it. Suddenly, everything jolts into action. Dozens of daggers, saws, swords, and spears spring out from all sides, whistling through the air. But this is no enemy ambush. The weapons are being brandished by the pistons and loudly scraping gears of a giant mechanism. The spear that saved the commander was so rusted in its piston that it is no longer able to move. The party has found itself in the heart of a giant metal flower, growing up out of the ashy quagmire covering the floor. The Uranog, built by the Forges of the Abyss, tries to close its petals, crushing, mashing, and cutting its victims to pieces. The years of lying dormant in the darkness have taken their toll. Its articulations move with a soul-shuddering screech and become easily jammed. The mummified bodies of unlucky crusaders can still be hanging speared on rusted blades. The commander wants to avoid their fate. He must figure out what makes the Uranog move. Even a magical mechanism is still a mechanism. From above, the commander has a good view of the Uranog's inner workings. Large toothed wheels are set into motion by gear shafts. It all becomes clear. The gear shafts can be jammed. The movement will stop. The commander is almost out of time. Another few minutes and it will all be over. Realizing that a simple escape isn't possible, the commander decides to try jamming the Uranog's main mechanisms at the heart of the flower. He looks around for something sturdy and finds Alright, so I'm going to assume that whatever we select here, we don't get as loot. And since the only monk in our party isn't going to use a staff, we're going to use this. Oh, sorry, the staff of a dead monk. And the body of a monk with his staff on his back looks utterly serene. This person knew what was coming and prepared for death. The Urnog's daggers pierced him from all sides, but in doing so, they held him fast. His enchanted iron staff is untouched by rust, which is a promising sign. The commander tries to reach the staff, but to do this, he needs to grab onto the monk's shoulders and hang from them. It is a risky maneuver, but the ancient mummy remains intact. Even to the touch, the monk's body is flexible and supple, like he is only recently dead. The commander seizes the staff and tosses it into the heart of the Uranog. The staff falls, striking perfectly in the vulnerable spot where the gears close together. The furious screeching and scraping, the Uranog tries to grind up the staff. After a few minutes, the staff breaks, disappearing into the bowels of the mechanism. Alright, a tower shield on the back of a dead warrior. As she died, the female warrior tried to hide behind her tower shield, but it did not save her. The closing petals pin her to her shield, forevermore fusing them together as one whole. Commander plants his feet against the shield and pushes, trying to dislodge it, but it doesn't move an inch. Alright, a hammer in the hands of a dead paladin. The body of a paladin, clutching a warhammer in his hands of bone, hangs from one of the Uranog's hammers pointing directly upward. The commander is lucky that this warrior chose to meet his death with weapon in hand. The commander drags the body toward him and grabs the hammer, but the Servant of Light's grip is still surprisingly strong, refuses to relinquish the weapon. The bone arms are easily ripped from the skeleton's shoulders, still holding the hammer. The commander tosses the lot into the heart of the Uranog. The hammer falls, sparking off the gears and getting stuck between them. With the furious screeching and scraping, Uranog tries to grind up the hammer, but it cannot. A tremor travels up the pedals. There's a deafening cracking sound. The Uranog stills, forever. After carefully extracting themselves from the clutches of the broken Uranog, the commander and his party find themselves up to their knees in ashy sludge once more. But this time, it only harmlessly squelches under their feet as they walk. A dark breach yawns before them, and the cry the commander heard at the entrance to the barrow rises up again. Help me. Since there is no other route, the commander decides to see if there is anything of value in the Crusaders' bodies. Spencer's gift and a handful of gold coins. The commander searches the Crusaders' bodies. What the dead no longer need may prove useful to the living. Fortune smiles on him. The party will be leaving the Uranog's cave, richer than it went in. After all its ordeals, the party finally goes up to the surface and emerges in a small chamber. Chamber. I can talk. Pipes protrude from numerous openings dotted all over the walls. They connect to a small box adorned with the Baphomet symbol. The box cries out, producing a high plaintive noises that, when carried through the pipes, begin to sound something like, "Help me." The commander knows that this is just another demonic mechanism created to lure Crusaders into the barrow. He smashes the box, scattering small bolts and gears across the room. Silence reigns. There are no secrets left in this place now. Well, that was quite the adventure. Spencer's gift. These gloves grant their wearer a +3 damage bonus to the second weapon when dual wielding, or wielding a two-handed weapon. If the wearer has the weapon training ability and is wielding a weapon it gives a bonus to, that bonus increases by +2. Don't we have that exact same thing? I think... what's his face? Regil has gloves that are almost identical to that. It might just be a +1 bonus versus the +2. Alright, knapsack on a tree. Knapsack bulging with supplies hangs from the top of a pine tree. Its presence and purpose there remain mysterious. Alright, we're going to teleport back to Dresden, and in the next episode, we're going to go next. I want to plan it out. I guess we can go this way. No, you know what? We're going to go north. So we've cleared out the north already, but now we have... Oh, it's all the way over there. Never mind. We're not going that far yet. Yeah, I think we'll just keep swinging clockwise. I might go to Crimson Dust. It's not too far away from us. So yeah, that'll be our next goal, Crimson Dust, just to knock that out. And then we'll start going this way. Towards the makeshift lab, a Legacy of the Ancients, Petrified Traveler, and we haven't gone to the Old Sarkorian Mines yet, right? Oh, let's see. Where's this going to take us? Alright, we have a direction for Canabras first and only. Actually, we need to get this other army over here. Let's go ahead and combine these armies while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I'll probably forget. Alright, got a plan, and we're going to take care of it next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.